Hello. In this demo we are going to create a purchase order for services provided by a vendor and post his invoice in the SAP system. Every organization acquires goods to complete its business needs. Besides these goods procurement, an organization may require occasionally some kind of services. These services will include small maintenance tasks like changing the lights, painting and housekeeping. These services are carried out by external contractors and hence the whole process of procurement of services is known as service management. The key points about service management are as follows. A. Services are meant for direct consumption instead of keeping them in inventory. B. Service description along with unit of measure is stored as master data in a record that is known as service master record. C. System stores the services that have been procured as a record in a sheet called as service entry sheet. Service procurement is of following two types: planned services and unplanned services. In planned services at the time of procurement, specifications like quantity and price are known in advance. It means nature and scope of service is clear before procurement. In unplanned services at the time of procurement, specifications like quantity and price are not known in advance. It means nature and scope of service is not clear before procurement. These services can be extended as per the requirement. Service management deals with the following terms, which are as follows: service master record, service purchase order, service entry sheet. Service master record contains the detail of all the services that can be procured from external vendor within an organization. Service master record contains description of services along with the unit of measure. This master record serves as a reference for creating service purchase order, but it is not necessary. Service purchase order can also be created manually without reference. Service master record can be created by following the below steps. Path to create service master record. Logistics materials management service master service master, or enter the T code, AC03. Select create new service icon as shown. Fill in all necessary details like service category. As you see, system prompts you to enter the base unit of measure, the material group and the valuation class. Click on Save. A new service will be created. As we can see, most of the services are created. Once the services master data is created, we need to create a purchase order for accomplishing the services. POK be created using the ME21 endcode. Fill in the details like type of purchase order been raised as service PO, the vendor details, payment terms and the Incoterms. Once the header details are entered, we are required to enter the items details like account assignment category, cost center, text for the services and the plant. Click on the Services tab to make an entry to the Services sheet. Enter the services that require to be taken, quantity and the amount payable for the services. We need to apportion the cost to the correct cost center. Enter the correct tax code under the Invoices tab. Make sure all the mandatory taxes along with their values are correctly populated. In the Conditions tab, make sure to enter the conditions required to be printed on the print output. Check the purchase order created to be free from any errors. Save the purchase order created. Confirmation that the services are taken and they are met are done through making an entry into the service sheet using the code ML81N. However, prior to this entry sheet, the purchase order has to be released for taking the required services. The appropriate authorizing personnel shall be able to release the purchase order. Save the released purchase order. Enter this PO number and the item number in the service sheet as shown. Click on the Create button as shown. Enter the short text and check the Adopt Full Quantity checkbox. Select the line of services populated and click on Adopt Services. The line of services selected now gets populated on the first screen. Select the services taken item line and save the service entry sheet created. As you see, the entry sheet created turns green, which was previously yellow. Now you can post the invoice presented by the vendor using code MIRO. Enter the details like invoice date, posting date and the purchase order number. Make sure in the drop-down goods/services item selected. Once the line item for the service is provided as line item with the agreed cost, we need to enter the correct tax code. In the Payment tab, enter the baseline date from where the payment due to be paid to the vendor is calculated. As you can see, the date March 14th is calculated from January 29th since the payment terms is 45 days from baseline date. Enter the total amount payable to the vendor inclusive of the tax payable. If this is correctly entered in the balance amount, it shows zero amount payable and the radio button turns green. Now simulate the invoice to be posted. Post the document so that the same is reflected as vendor's payable. Thank you.